Okay, so this lecture will be really short, less than 10 minutes. So watch it to the end and do the worksheet that I'm gonna send you. And that's the grade for the day, and then we're done for the weekend. So we're gonna distinguish between adjectives and adverbs, and it's super simple. In the worksheet you have today, you're gonna choose the correct word. There will be 2 words, and you'll choose the correct word, but then you need to tell me if the word that you chose is an adjective or an adverb. And there are like 10 of those sentences. Take a picture, send it back to me. I think I've decided not to call you today. I'll just give you the morning text, and if you turn this in, then that's your grade, and if you forget, then that's a grade too, but it's on you, because it's really simple. You should probably just do it when you get this. But anyway, how do you know if something is an adjective or an adverb? Well, it's all about the verb, as it's been since the beginning of time. So we're gonna look at these 2 sentences, because I'm gonna use joyful or joyfully, and decide, how do I know if it's an adjective or an adverb? This says Joseph is a joyful guy. Label everything. Is your verb. Who or what is a joyful guy? Joseph. And go ahead and say that's a linking verb in case I need to know that for later. And since it is a linking verb, I only have 2 choices of something coming up. It's going to either be the complement predicate nominative, because I have a noun, or a predicate adjective, because it's going to describe Joseph. But I actually have a noun here, so we're going to label that predicate nominative, and I got a little article. And then I have joyful. And what is joyful doing there? It's telling me what kind of guy, and what kind is an adjective question. Then I'm going to take this joyful, I'm going to add an ly, joyfully. Normally when you add an ly, you're going to get an adverb, but it's not a hard and fast rule, because there are adverbs that don't end in ly. So again, you want to start with the verb. Joseph sings joyfully. Verb, sings. Go ahead and make it an action verb, because I'm not going to have a linking verb with those 2 complements following it. So I might have the 2 complements that follow an action verb, but I don't have to, right? You want to look for those complements. Well, who or what sings joyfully? Joseph. The next word I have, when you have an action verb, sometimes you ask the direct object question. Sings who or what, right? But that doesn't make sense here. We don't have a complement in this sentence. We don't have a direct object or an indirect object. We just have this word, and what is it doing there? It's telling me how Joseph sings. So if I'm answering a how question, then I have an adverb, and that could be anything. Joseph sings joyfully, Joseph sings horribly, Joseph sings quickly, but I have an adverb, not a complement. And of course, a complement may or may not show up in a sentence. It's just the 3rd thing if you need it. So we went from joyful as an adjective describing guy to joyfully as an adverb describing sings. Joyfully is not describing Joseph. Joyfully Joseph, that doesn't make any sense. But joyful Joseph does. And how does he sing? He sings joyfully. Adjective, adverb. When you have a linking verb, you are going to wind up with either a predicate nominative, like we said, a noun, or you're going to wind up with a predicate adjective. And so that's what we did in the last unit. So you need to know your linking verbs, right? Taste, feel, smell, sound, look, appear, become, seen, grow, remain, stay, plus am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Those could function as linking verbs. So again, everything depends on the verb. So the lemon tastes bitter. Tastes is my verb. Who or what tastes bitter? The lemon. Then I got a little article if you want to check stuff. And then I want to see, because I know I have a linking verb, let's see if I have something in the predicate that links back to the subject. Let's just make sure that's a linking verb. Does bitter equal lemon? Does bitter link back to lemon. Yes, it does. And when you have that, you have a predicate adjective, right? The flower smells sweet. Taste, feel, smell, sound. So I know, I could have a linking verb. Let's see if sweet and flower are the same thing. Is sweet linking back to flower? Does sweet describe the flower? Yes, it does. So I have a predicate adjective. So bitter and sweet, and I always say this, if you can't decide if a predicate adjective is an adjective, just put it in front of a noun real quick. The bitter pill, the bitter soup, the sweet girl. Like sometimes that will tell you really quickly if you have an adjective, a predicate adjective or a predicate nominative. But let's change it. Let's take bitterly and just like tweak it a little bit and talk about it in a different way. I spoke bitterly. Well, we're just going to do the same steps that we've been doing since August. Verb, spoke, who or what spoke, I did. Now I have an action verb, and maybe that will come in handy if I happen to have a complement, but spoke, who or what doesn't fit here. I don't have an answer to that question, so I don't have a direct object. All I have is this word telling me how I spoke. So as soon as I change bitter to bitterly, I'm no longer modifying or describing a noun, I'm describing a verb. And things that describe verbs are called adverbs. So you have to kind of say, what is bitterly doing there? It's not describing I, the bitterly I. It's saying how I speak. And then we're going to take sweet and tweak it a little bit. She sings sweetly. Verb, sings. Who or what sings? She. I have an action verb. We'll label it and just see if we need it for a complement. But we don't. We don't have a complement there. All we have is this word, again, telling how she sings. And again, the ly gives it away. But let's do one that doesn't have an ly. And remember, I did this the other day. The difference, I did a whole lecture. And so we want to distinguish between good and well. And the problem with this is that we all say this incorrectly. And we just have to stop it. We just have to lose this habit. And then you can always recognize well as an adverb and good as an adjective. So, mom's cooking tastes good. Verb, tastes. Could be a linking verb. We're gonna see, because sometimes those linking verbs can be action verbs. But let's see. Mom's cooking tastes good. Who or what tastes good? The cooking tastes good. Mom's is describing who's cooking. So that's a little adjective right there. And then, does good link back to her cooking? Does it equal cooking? It does. So I actually have two adjectives. I have kind of a straight up adjective and I have a predicate adjective. So this is a linking verb. Now let's talk about mom and her cooking some more. Mom cooks well. So we're gonna start with a verb. Mom, cooks. Who or what cooks? Mom cooks. Well, this is an action verb. Cooking is not on the linking verb list, and we can't really answer cooks who or what. We don't have a complement in this sentence. We have how she cooks, and this is something that I'm just gonna never ever let up on y'all about is how we do something is not good. You did not play good. You did not write good. You did not sing good. You did not study good. So how did you play last night? So-and-so. You're going to say, I played so well. I can't believe it. I'm so much better than I used to be. I played really, really well. How'd your studying go today? It went well. I think it'll go better tomorrow, but it went well today. It did not go good. But this is something that just everybody says this wrong. You did so good on that test. No, you didn't. You did well. And so again, you're gonna not correct the grown-ups, not correct your teacher. You're just gonna take the compliment and think to yourself, I did well. Let's see. The last thing I want to say, this is such a short lecture, is that surely, really, usually, and badly are used as adverbs. And that will show up on your worksheet today. So, this is it. This is the easiest, shortest lecture, adjective or adverb. Do the worksheet, send it back to me. It's 100 daily grade or it's a 0 daily grade by the end of this day. And you guys can remember this on your own today, okay? You can always call me and I'll work through the sentences with you. Most of you that call me do 100% better than when you do it by yourself. If you don't have problems, then great. That's it. Y'all have a good day.